My name is Dr. Henry Rotich. I'm Director for Metrology and Testing at Kenya Bureau of Standards. Metrology and Testing is one of the directorates, the technical directorates at Kenya Bureau of Standards. Metrology is the science of measurements. I know we have the meteorology, the one which forecasts the weather. But what we do at Kenya Bureau of Standards is the science of measurements. We provide traceability of our national measurements to the International System of Units, the SI. We are the National Metrology Institute for Kenya at Kenya Bureau of Standards. So every country has one National Metrology Institute. And so the KEBS metrology here is the National Metrology Institute for Kenya. So what we do in metrology is we are by law the custodian of the national measurement standards. We have, for example, mass lab, that's where you get a kilogram. We have pressure lab, we have temperature, we have acoustics, we have also photometry. We also do dosimetry, where we are measuring the radiations, the amounts of radiations that are being emitted. If you are working in an area where you are using radiation sources, for example, those working in the hospital and they are doing X-rays. So we calibrate their dosimeters so that they can be able to know how much doses they receive and interventions at the right time. Testing, what we do is one of our mandates, and our role here is to characterize the products, to determine whether the products meet the requirements. That could be for the standard. It might be also from the industry. You are doing some research and you want to know the composition of your product to see whether it meets what you are developing. So we characterize the products through a series of testing, which the products we deal with covers. We have food, we have also textile products, we have also construction materials, electrical, and so we cover a wide range of products that you can see in the market. Whatever you see in the market, we test here. If you look at international trade, we are talking about the African Continental Free Trade Area. What's our goal as a continent? It's free movement of goods. I can access any market anywhere. But there's one condition, that they must be quality products. So how do you get quality products? By testing and making sure that the systems that are manufacturing can consistently produce quality products, which meets the requirements. I remember when I joined KEBS, there were only testing labs here in Nairobi. And we started, I think it was this room, the same room, although we've done some bit of modification. But I remember I used to do my analysis here in the inorganic lab. So we've grown as KEBS testing to meet the needs of the industry. As the economy is growing, the industries are growing, and so they require these services. So now we have, in total, we are having about 54 labs. We're looking at the regions. So we have in Mombasa, we've expanded to Mombasa. We have in Kisumu for the Lake region. We have in North Rift, Eldoret for the North Rift region. We've also set up labs in Nakuru, Nyeri, we have in Meru, and we've also set up small labs in the entry points to make sure that when the products are coming in or they're going out and somebody requires to test, they can test. So we have satellite labs in the major entry points. So the desire of testing is, once tested, acceptable everywhere. In research and development, we are looking at how can we get better. One of the areas that we do is to develop methods. You remember we talk about this is how we are testing, but maybe because of what is happening globally, you are gathering information or you're questioning certain things and seeing how you can improve them. So this way, we develop new methods and try them out, and then we validate them, and we can now be able to roll out to be
Okay. So Good afternoon, good morning, and wherever you're watching us from, karibuni hapa ni Kenya Bureau of Standards. My name is Dennis. Asante sana for making time to watch this episode. This is Ask KEBS and karibu hapa Kenya Bureau of Standards. Ask KEBS is here to bring you everything about Kenya Bureau of Standards. You ask questions, we answer them, and once the episode ends, you leave ukijua kwamba Kenya Bureau of Standards is there to make your life easier. We are there to facilitate trade. We are there to make sure that wale ambao wako na biashara, wale wako na bidhaa, wale wanataka kufanya different things in the economy of the country called Kenya can be able to do them courtesy of Kenya Bureau of Standards. My name is Dennis. It's a good time to have a conversation about Ask KEBS. Ask KEBS has been coming to you every Wednesday, and we have had different episodes, different sessions. We've talked about NQI, we've talked about supply chain, we've talked about the quality assurance, we've talked about so many processes at Kenya Bureau of Standards, even market surveillance. Ukajua kwamba bidhaa ambazo ziko pale sokoni, how to check them, how to verify them, what to do in case you find a substandard good, and every other process about Kenya Bureau of Standards. But there's one very interesting process that Kenya Bureau of Standards does. It supports something called research. We do research and development, and this episode will help us break it all down, know what exactly does Kenya Bureau of Standards do when it comes to research and development, what role do we play, how can you join that whole process, where can you be able to work with us, and how can we be able to work with you. So join this episode, and to help us break that whole process down, we are joined by the experts, the people who are actually on the ground, the people who help us do that research and development. So to help us that, we have Daktari. Daktari, karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Please introduce yourself and
Thank
tell
you.
us who you are.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Joshua Mugendi Njiru. I'm the Chief Manager of the HOD Research and Development and Innovation Department at Kenya Bureau of Standards.
Wow.
It's a department that is domiciled within the Directorate of Metrology and Testing. That's where currently we are hosted within the structure and the governance structure of Kenya Bureau of Standards.
Research and development.
Yes, research and development.
What are you researching? What are you developing? Why do we need you? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, very interesting. We do research every day, and research has been there since time of our forefathers. They did a lot of research, only that it was not known as we know it in the contemporary times and the recent times that they did research. How did they identify that they could make some traditional brew and alcohol somewhere in the village? So how did they identify and know how they could be able to select a certain kind of a variety of forefathers, kitambo, how to grow the best crops and all that. But now research over the years has really morphed into be the driving force behind economies actually that have thrived globally. And the position and the place of research, development, and innovation within the infrastructure and ecosystem of standardization is quite important in the standardization. Standards development, identification of new and emerging technologies, development of standards, and standards that will guide the exploitation of these new innovation and standards. And also, most of all important is to update through research and development in our context, update the existing standards to make sure that they are relevant to the needs of the current day.
So you're saying it didn't start yesterday?
No, research did not start yesterday. Within KEBS is a department that may not be very, very old, but it is well captured in the structure. And maybe actually just to give a short background of the importance of research, development, and innovation.
Please do.
African Agenda 2063. That was, I think, in 2014, yes. So they sat down and said, this is where the African continent needs to be up to 2063. But they said the first 10 years are very critical and important, that we need to develop an infrastructure called Science, Technology, and Innovation Strategy for Africa. So that actually came to maturity December last year, 2024 December.
10 years?
10 years. So we are within the framework of achieving the objectives of the African Agenda 2063. And the bedrock and the foundation, you can see the first 10 years, they focused on developing a robust infrastructure that would encourage research, development, and innovation.
Uh-huh.
So that's why we see now the benefits of such kind of a move at the African continent. Coming to the recent days now, you can see now the research and development department within Kenya Bureau of Standards have become more robust, is vibrant now.
True.
There's capitation allocated for purposes of research. So, and the future only looks better because we know, look at the really strong economies in Europe, in Asia, in North America. If there's something they don't joke with, is a budget for research, development, and innovation. Because they know if they're able to support research, there's going to be the output of a lot of innovation that will go to the commercial level, and that drives the economies. Okay. So that's the importance of research, development, and innovation.
You have actually started from telling us that it was done since time immemorial, and I would actually be interested to understand then what are the things that, say, for example, when you're doing research, you say it affects standards development.
Yes.
You're affecting almost all fields.
Yes.
But why are you a standalone then? Shouldn't you be in every of those?
We are in all those.
Okay.
We are in all those. The Research and Development Department, as established in KEBS, is actually a function or a department that should encourage and support research across the diverse fields that we have at KEBS. You know, KEBS is a very divergent institution with so many vast fields. We will be releasing shortly a survey we did earlier this year on what is the appetite of research, development, and innovation within KEBS as a national standards body. And the respondents came from across all the departments: HR, administration, surveillance, quality assurance, testing, name them. So every department within KEBS sees the importance and the potential that there lies in research, development, and innovation in supporting our mandate in standardization, metrology, and conformity assessment. But very importantly is in the standards development. How do we develop our standards? Our standards are developed by technical experts through the technical committees. One of the greatest supports in the formulation of standards is research. Because they will have to exploit and use data that is scientific proven. So there's a lot of research that goes into the development of standard itself.
So that's where you come in.
That's where we come in. And we come in there, and also over and above any other function that will support the ecosystem of standardization within the country or within actually Kenya Bureau of Standards.
Wow.
This can be as far as collaborations with the national institution, private institutions, government institutions. That robust collaboration helps, not tag along, but carry along that people would realize the importance of research and development, even in standards development and also in building and driving economies.
So from what you're saying, you've given us two possible players or partner people you work with.
Yes.
You have the KEBS itself as an organization and all its departments.
Yes.
And also you've talked about external stakeholders.
Yes.
How do you work with external stakeholders?
Good. We are proud that Research and Development Department has gotten a lot of focus and support, especially from the previous and the current National Standards Council. In 2023, for the first time, the Research, Development, and Innovation Policy was approved by the National Standards Council. So what it did, it opened an avenue for us to be able to develop a framework on which we can tap the benefits and the gains of research, development, and innovation as a national standards body, as a national metrology institute. So within the policy, the research and development policy, working together with the performance contract, because for the last 4 years, there's been a move that we mainstream science, technology, and innovation within all the government MDAs that have a mandate on research. So we work a lot with the National Commission for Science, Technology, and Innovation. So what we did as KEBS, within this period, we have managed to develop or to establish, we have established a very important committee. It's an institutional scientific research and ethics review committee. This committee has been trained by the National Commission for Science, Technology, and Innovation. This committee has been trained by the National Commission for Science, Technology, and Innovation. This committee has already applied for accreditation to the National Commission for Science, Technology and Innovation.
It wants to be accredited.
We will be accredited. We have already actually made our dues. We have paid. We have made our payments to Nacosti. Nacosti is a little bit slow pulling his feet on this, but we should be accredited. We have gone through the trainings. We have developed our standards operating procedures for the committee. So we are set for accreditation. So what this committee does, every year it issues a call internally to the departments within Kenya Bureau of Standards. And these departments within Kenya Bureau of Standards, majority of them have got stakeholders who are external. For example, it may be the technical committees that are comprised and composed of people from the industry, the private sector, from the government institutions, and all that. And in their deliberation or in dispensing their duty in drafting of standards, they have encountered bottlenecks. And these bottlenecks, they need time and they need scientific data that will help them arrive at a decision on, for example, what thresholds to set for a certain commodity. So they can actively put up an application to the KEBS Research and Ethics Review Committee. The proposal is reviewed. It is assessed on its suitability towards the mandate of KEBS, standardization, metrology, and conformity assessment. And it is allocated funding by the Research and Development Department. The outcomes of this project or research, they are actually an input that will help us change. We have the National Rise Master Plan. It goes all the way, I think, up to 2030 there. Mchele.
There's a master plan.
Yeah, there's a plan how to increase almost close to about fourfold of the rice that we produce as a country. So University of Embu, they have developed a rice variety that is aromatic. Its fragrance is it's just like the normal bishori that we know, or even better. That's what currently we are being told from the research. That is much more yielding than the aromatic rice varieties that we have in Kenya. But the problem was this. There is a lot of bias in the market where not so good marketers are blending rice, the aromatic and non-aromatic rice. And we needed to develop a system that would help, or rather, a platform that would help identify between the aromatic and non-aromatic rice. And this will actually help us as Kenya Bureau of Standards, first of all, in the analysis of the rice, and also building capacity, for example, for the research institution like MIAD that we are working with in Moya, for discrimination between the aromatic and non-aromatic rice. And now, together with the same project now, we are now partnering with the Tianjin Norm University in China to see if we can be able to develop portable gadgets that can be able to discriminate on the protein level for the aromatic and non-aromatic rice.
So the difference is usually on the protein levels?
Yeah, there's a hole that happens at the genetic level. I don't want to go very scientific. There's 2-acetyl pylorine that gives the rice the aroma that you want from a gene called BADH2 gene that is in the rice.
The aroma doesn't just come from where?
No, the aroma does not just come from where. So there's a lot of science that goes in it. So the collaborations can be internal and also external. To give a very interesting one is currently one of the projects that we are running together with the standards department. Since when was KEBS started?
1974.
1974.
Yes, 74.
So
you had to put me on the hot seat. Okay. Ilikuwa not anyway. Go.
1974. So as a country, we have actually never sat down and asked all the standards that we have developed in this country as a national standards body. What impact do they have in our economy? And what impact do they have in the social economy of this country?
We don't have anything to back that.
There's no data anywhere to back that as a country. When you go to Europe, close to about 24 countries, they came together, they did a elaborate survey. And all the surveys and studies that have been done in Europe, in North America, in Australia, there is a very clear correlation between standards development, uptake of standards, and economic growth.
Wow.
So what we have done with the standards department, research and development, we developed a conceptual framework and a concept paper. And now for the first time, we are actually conducting research on that will tell us what is the impact of the standards in the Kenyan economy. And it will also help us guide us. Of course, this is where the focus is, especially where we should concentrate more on standards development, uptake of standards. How do we make sure that the industry, the stakeholders that need the standards are able to access them? And what is the impact on that?
Well, Watu, I hope you're following and listening to this episode because it's quite interesting. I didn't know that rice, the normal pishori that we just think has very nice aroma coming from where, has a lot of research that has been done and currently being done by the team of Dr. Joshua Njiru to make sure that we can even tell the difference.
Yeah, we can tell the difference.
Unajua kuna blend. If you go to buy rice, I have heard of the word blend.
Yes.
And sometimes it's quite difficult to tell ni gani na si gani.
Yeah.
So there's a way or a research that you guys are working on to help us as a country to actually identify that.
Yeah. If you recall, during the former regime in Moya, the president visited Moya, and there was an outcry in Moya, and they said there's a challenge of blending the rice with inferior varieties of rice and all that, and that's how this research was actually actioned for us to be able to participate in making sure that we secure our Kenyan farmers, that the premium rice that they produce, because Kenya we have premium rice, that it is not diluted and unfairly used to compete with our farmers.
Wow.
Maybe after we come back, I'll tell you about the meat.
Kuna nyama?
Yes, there's meat.
There's even something to do with meat. You know, when you've talked about the collaboration with the other organization and you've talked about the University of Embu, you say you've developed a superior, or rather a brand of peshori that gives high yields. I can only imagine what that would do to a farmer who's doing normal farming of the rice with what we have currently, and then the variety that we'll get from the Embu University.
Yes.
The yields would be much more.
The yields will be much more.
That means more profits.
It means more profits to the farmer.
Yeah.
And we may not have been fully involved in the development of the germplasm itself or the variety itself, but KEBS, the variety itself, the rice itself.
Oh,
the germplasm is there.
Scientists have a way of just making us hear so many big words.
But we are very pivotal in making sure that there is fair trade and commercialization of the same rice.
Wow.
Yeah, because we can now be able to discriminate on. We have in testing department a lady who has been trained her masters through this project, Sheila Kemboi.
Yeah.
She's doing her masters in this field, and now in the lab we can be able to do two things: discriminate the aroma, and then an aroma using the HPLC, and also using the DNA.
All that is being done in Kenya now?
Yes, we can do that here in the lab.
Did you know that we could actually do that in Kenya? And KEBS has capacity to actually do that. That is courtesy of the research and development. Hapa ni Ask KEBS. Uliza maswali. Tuko hapa kukujibu. My name is Dennis. We are doing this with Dr. Joshua Njiru to make sure that he breaks this whole process down for us and make sure tunaelewa kwamba research and development is such a crucial, important part. That's right now you're planning to do a survey, or rather a research about the impact of standards that we have developed since we started.
Yes. We are not actually planning to.
It's actually in the process.
We have already finished the first objective of the study. This is purely by KEBS, funded by KEBS. You can see the support. And the impact of this will not only be to KEBS.
True.
It will be even to the industry. We now have finished the first objective, where we have been able to conduct the baseline study on the impact and the uptake of standards across different sectors. So we even have now an indicator that we can be able to tell you what percentage of the government institutions all the government parastatals, for example, how many of them reference standards in their policy? We have a baseline now. And then now, very soon now, as we go on with the next study, is we will now start coming up with, we're going to go so granular, down to the ground together with the standards department. And also now the importance of this to show collaboration, we also partner with Cooperative University of Kenya to conduct the same study.
And I've already seen a question, somebody asking, so where can we see these research papers, these studies? Are they public information?
Yeah, this we have published a lot. There's some journals that we have published as a Kenyan, as a KEBS staff, in collaboration with the institution that we partner with. Very soon, for most of the projects that I'm talking about, they are still ongoing projects. So you'll start seeing the communication. So starting from here, we had the first late last year, rice value chain stakeholders engagement, working together with a rice cooperative in Moya. And we spoke to a big team of online participants, telling them what we are doing together with the University of Nairobi, Professor Evans Nyaboga, and a lot of work is going on the background. Yes.
I've seen a question asking about academia and how you work with them, because I've heard you mention Professor Dr. This. Is this a normal way of your processes, or how does it work?
When you look at other jurisdictions somewhere, the developed countries, I have had a privilege to work with some even of the SMEs in Europe and big companies in Europe and in Asia. Some of them will take their ideas to the university first to be tried on, to be tested by graduate students, master students, PhD students, and then they will be upskilled in the industry. So that is the idea that the universities in Kenya also are thinking, or they ought to think if they're not thinking that way. How can they partner strongly with the private sector, with the industry, to make sure that there is a translation from just mere research for publication and getting a PhD and a master's and a professor and all that, but how can that innovation, how can that research translate to building economies? So one of a deliberate move that we have taken with the universities, let me mention, for example, the KEBS University and the University of Nairobi. We sat together with the University of Nairobi and we wrote a proposal on that touches on the meat value chain. And what we wanted is to unlock a few bottlenecks that are there in the meat value chain, where the meat, and it happens globally. Look in Europe, in Asia, in America, you'll see there is a lot of counterfeiting and adulteration of meat and meat products, especially the processed ones. And we were able to get funding, another institution that we partner with, the National Research Fund. The same project that now we are conducting has been picked by Tianjin Normal University, and we're going to have a co-funding to push this research further. So what we are doing with KEBS University is they have got the capacity and the ability to fabricate biosensors. Today, go to KEBS today, they have the sensor solution center there. It's a partnership between an American company and the university. So why should we have our solutions developed elsewhere if they can be developed by the KEBS University, for instance? So when we do our research and there is need to fabricate, for example, gadgets, small biosensors, dosimeter, together with the KEBS, we are developing a partnership with metrology, a fast, low-cost dosimeter that will be fabricated by the KEBS University.
A local product?
A local product. Developed by the software, it's with Stanford University. We partner with them. They have an open software and hardware platform that innovators and designers can play around with it, change the designs and all that. And we are tapping into that, and we hosted Stanford here University. So we do that with the KEBS University. So in that space, what we do is we look at what are the gaps that are there, for example, within our mandate of standardization, metrology, and conformity assessment. Can we easily be able to partner with the universities as they deliver their mandate in research, in academia, capacity building and training and all that, but also we're able to have solutions to our own problems.
Wow. So hata kwa nyama kuna adulteration, and now you guys are trying to look for a way out of it.
I don't want to mention which country, but just Google and see how meats are switched in other areas, that you can be taking something that is something else different. And we have had stories, but now the beauty is the recent science we have proved here. It's very easy to detect such kind of vices in the market.
That's amazing, Daktari.
Yeah, so there's a lot of research from academia in partnership with KEBS.
So KEBS is not only in the process of standardization, you're not only in the process of making the products that you're buying out there to make sure that they meet the standards, but we're even developing processes and different things to make sure that as we make the standards, as we develop those standards, as we bring them to you, there's a lot of research that has been done, and it's not being done from outside Kenya.
No,
it's being done here.
Yeah.
In collaboration with different organizations, institutions like universities.
Yes.
And that is something amazing to hear that is happening in Kenya.
Yes.
But I'm interested to know, Daktari, why are we not hearing more of this? Or what is the plan? Because it looks like you guys are working in the shadows and we just wake up and hear Muko na Pishori, Mara. What's happening, Daktari?
Yeah, do you want me to answer in the context of KEBS or in the context of
I'm thinking from a country perspective, because
yes.
The viewers who are watching this episode right now are the everyday Kenyan folk, and I would imagine hizi ni vitu when you're told you would imagine zinafanyiwa majuu.
Yes.
The word is hizo ni vitu za majuu, hapa sisi ni kumalizia tu. And then you have brains and people like you who are seated day and out doing things to the success of it. Why are you not telling us more of this?
There's something very challenging about scientists. Now, scientists, or most researchers, are not very good in communication. We are not very good in effective communication. However, one of the challenges that has curtailed, or rather that has held back the advances of research, development, and innovation itself is in the prioritization of research, development, and innovation. I tell you, for example, Vietnam, a country like Vietnam. If we speak from the global perspective of global being Kenya. Vietnam, if there is anything, even if there were austerity measures that they cannot touch from Treasury, it is money that is allocated to research, development, and innovation. They can't.
What do you mean?
Yes. They will not touch that money.
It is that crucial.
And it is that crucial. But now, when you come to us as a country, and I just came from the meeting that I was telling you, that is looking at how do we develop a master plan as a country on resource mobilization that will support RSTI, research, science, technology, and innovation. As a country, we are supposed to allocate 2% of the country's GDP to research, science, and technology and innovation. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that. I'm actually hearing this for the first time.
As a country, and this is captured from all the way from Agenda 2063. We are supposed to allocate 2% of the country's GDP to research, development, research, science, technology, and innovation.
Are we doing that?
No. These funds are channeled through the National Research Fund. And that's how KEBS has been a beneficiary of a few projects that are funded by the National Research Fund. Ideally, now what we are getting is about 0.5 or if not 0.6% of that money to a National Research Fund.
And this is how much you have used to get or to where we are today?
I think I was with Professor Nixon Andala, the CEO of NRF, yesterday.
Yeah.
And that is a challenge that we have as a country. But our belief is that if different institutions, the government institution, can focus and prioritize financing and funding of research, development, innovation, then we can see the 0.5% figure increasing. Especially now, for example, for an institution like KEBS, Kenha is doing very well in allocation for financing. So one of the challenge that we don't hear a lot of information, a lot of media coverage, a lot of good things that are happening in research, development, innovation is first of all from the allocation of resources to research as a country. And we need to change that. When the coiners of Vision 2030 decided, we will have the National Commission for Science, Technology, and Innovation guiding the country on matters to do with research, science, technology, and innovation. They will give the thematic areas that we should focus on as a country. And then the National Research Fund will manage 2% of the country's 2% GDP to fund this research. And that has not been happening. So we see that now we have the draft national the policy. So what you will see more partnerships now coming in on board from local and also international. And is doing a lot of work with the University of Nairobi on identifying materials in Kenya. For example, as Kenya Bureau of Standards, we have the Kenyan standards that are developed by the technical committees in Kenya. We have got the African standards from the ARSO level. And also we have we also adopt standards. Remember, there is we exist within a framework, the International Standards Organization. So what we are trying also to do as a country, and this is also what we are seeing from the study that we are conducting, what areas are more driven towards encouraging the development of Kenyan standards for Kenyan products, and also supporting the Kenyan products and the Kenyan standards. But however, you see, because of, for example, the East Africa, the African Free Trade Area, we want to make sure that we have harmonized standards, that if you're trading in Kenya, you can trade in Malawi, you can trade everywhere. So to respond to that, it may not be happening right now, but I can tell you from the drafters of standards, it is in the radar. I sit in the African, in ARSO's one of the technical committee, technical number 83, and I see the focus and the leadership of ARSO is to try as much as possible develop standards that will be applicable for in the African context, and also being very deliberate on what standards do we adopt from other jurisdictions.
Amazing. I hope, John Kivuva, you have at least a direction, and Daktari has really put you in a place where now you understand why it's currently happening and what, as a country and as a region, because you have put it in the African context, what exactly we are trying to achieve. It's work in progress.
It's work in progress. And also one of the things that we also need to communicate very clearly now as an institution is that we are very supportive. We have seen at times when people will come with novel products, new products. Just the other day, I received a gadget in my office that can, it's a torch. It can inflate the tire. It can, it can put pressure on the tire. It can be used as a siren at night when you're stuck. It's very versatile.
One gadget.
One gadget. So now that one gadget, will it have one standard? So the more, and that's the reason why I say the importance of research, development, innovation, identification, identifying new and emerging technologies, developing standards for those technologies, and then after that, using those standards to validate and evaluate these products that they are actually doing what they were meant to do. So it's a process also as a country that we must appreciate.
That's amazing.
That KEBS will never stand in between, facilitation of trade.
Yeah, that's our ultimate goal.
That's our ultimate goal.
True.
Ultimate.
So I'm actually, I've seen another question somebody is asking. I want to start a fresh product, a fresh product. Now you've given actually another broad example that this is one product in which has like 3 or 4 functions. Now the question of standardization about it. But this one is asking, I just have an idea. I want to start it. And the resources are as limited as they come. Is it you as the right department, or where do I start? Is KEBS a party to such a process?
Now, unfortunately, we wish that we would be able to do that incubation and, upscale helping, but we can't. Our mandate is a little bit limited. However, there are so many platforms that are available, especially to entrepreneurs and startups, where they can do the proof of concept of their innovation, and also be able to upscale the same production. And one such kind of an incubation platform is a collaboration that we have with KIRDI. So we've seen KIRDI, the number of incubations that have been nurtured, have been incubated there, and they have come out successfully. I was in Migori the other day, and I was seeing what they are doing there with the peanut farmers in the processing, sunflower, and all that, the incubation part of it. We come, we are the interface. KEBS is the interface between research, development, and innovators, and commerce and trade. So the downstream process, we may not be very much involved, but we have seen a lot of support coming, especially to those startups. And we have done it in research and development.
Yeah.
When they say, I have this product, I want to know, does it really conform to the standard that is there? Working with other partners, for example, the universities, we are able to get their products validated here, tested here, analyzed here, and then they can also now be able to go on well with the product development processes.
That's amazing. So somebody who is probably in the process of developing a product would be able to get a benefit with us to do validation of what they're doing.
Yes.
With our labs.
With
and
our labs
facilities.
here. Yes.
And as your department, the research and development and innovation department, are you interested, or are you in any way looking forward to having whatever you have, the information, like somebody who wants to know data, to get data about things, about processes they want? Are we looking to do those ourselves, having journals and publications that are ours?
Yes. Very important you brought it up. Now, the KEBS Research and Ethics Review Committee, in its sitting and its deliberation, one of the things that they identified, where now I'm the secretary to it, is that we need a system and a way of communication to the public on the processes of research, on the output of research. Recently, we had an engagement with ARSO, and they are with a Chinese team from I'm forgetting their name. There is a Chinese team that visited. Because of a lot of trade that China is doing with the African continent. They have come up with a journal or a magazine that will publish information, research, anything touching the field of standardization in the African continent. And they were here, we hosted them here. And one of the things that we requested them, we would want one of the editors, call them the editors, the editorial team, to come from KEBS.
Wow.
Why did we say that? Is because we want also to be able, as a country, to communicate what we are doing in the field of standardization, not only in research, but also research will be part of it. The other thing that we are looking towards or forward is, with time, is to have a peer-reviewed journal purely on standardization, metrology, and conformity assessment. A peer-reviewed journal, we will invite scientists from across the globe that will be reviewed by competent scientists in the different various areas, that we can only focus on publications on standardization.
Amazing, Dr. I have so many questions. I've seen, let me just give you some feedback. I'm seeing Fancita Cherotich is saying, well done, Dr. Njiro. Immaculate Chege is saying, good job, Dr. Njiro. You have really worked hard on this. I like your dedication. Looking forward to enjoying the most aromatic rice.
Yes.
I've seen, who else? Corey K. Nelson is talking about KEBS and the products in the country. He's talking about us naming all the products and their manifestations. Who else? Let me go to Twitter. Apart from Kivuva John, I see Kawera. Let me also go on to YouTube. YouTube, I'm seeing Esther is also watching. There's a lot of nice feedback that is coming from this engagement. And it's interesting. Hizi vitu watu walikuwa nasema ni za majuu. Na zinafanyiwa majuu. You know, even when you tell people that you can sit down and give us data out of something, apart from you, when you come to our labs and see what exactly is happening, you would think that this is done elsewhere. And why I'm asking why you're not doing this more is because I think there's need for us to tell our story more.
Yes.
To tell this way more, because it's quite important.
It's very, very important.
Yani nyama mnaifanyia research. Ile nyama tunakatiwa. Daktari, these things are interesting.
We got funding from the National Research Fund to do that research. And now we are getting a co-funding from Tianjin University to continue with that research. Hopefully we are hosting Tianjin University here in May. In May or June, if I'm not wrong. And we now have an MOU and a collaboration to push the two projects together, that is RISE and also the MID project. But other things that you start seeing coming more out, especially within the KEBS community, is you realize you'll start realizing that there's a lot of improvement, or we can also be able to employ our own competencies that we have here.
Yeah.
To improve our systems from more studies, research, from surveys, and all that. You know, we're also supporting the HR department to do the culture audit for Kenya Bureau of Standards. Yeah, as research and development.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's what it takes. That is research and development. There is more. This is a very interesting engagement.
Yes.
I wish my director is not telling me what they're telling me, that time has come to Mali Natupa Kisogo. Lakini, this episode shall continue. And if
Yes.
you have any more questions, please keep them coming to us. This is Kenya Bureau of Standards. The hashtag is Ask KEBS. Tuuliza maswali. Uliza research and development. And talk to us in case you have anything of interest that you
Yes.
would want Daktari to probably tackle. I believe you're always ready to assist
Yes,
and
yes.
to help people navigate this world.
Yes.
Scientists who want to work with you, collaborate with you, are they open? Are you open for that?
Very, very open. Very, very open. We've been sitting in a series of meetings. Apparently, the research and development department is very vibrant. We are known maybe in the forums of the research ecosystem more than we are known internally here. But one of the calls that we make out there is to researchers and research graduate students that we are open to assist, and we are assisting quite a lot. We have graduated masters from here, Kenya Bureau of Standards. We have graduated doctorates from here, supporting them. So we are very open to partnership, to collaborations, and to working together.
Thank you so much. Kangiri Jacqueline, thank you so much for watching. I see Maswai is also watching, and thank you so much for tuning in and joining this episode and making sure that you followed it to Hapa to Mefika. My name is Dennis. This is Ask KEBS. I just want to remind you that as you're out there, as you're buying products, as you're engaging, know that KEBS is there to make sure that, one, the products you're buying there are safe. And if you're a trader, you're doing business, we are there to make sure that we are facilitating the trade, because we are not there to inhibit that trade. Hiyo biashara unajaribu kufanya. For as long as whatever you're selling meets the standards, KEBS is there to support it. We'll hold your hand. We shall walk with you. We are not there to police you. And then remind every consumer out there that wakati unanunua bidhaa pale sokoni, if you find that the product or you suspect it to be substandard, please let us know. Work with us. Tafadhali wajibika na sisi. Just go to that product, verify that permit number using the short code SM hash, kama ni standardization mark, kama ni diamond mark, DM hash. Send that to 20023. We shall be able to give you a response whether or not the product you're buying is or has been able to be checked and is valid to meet the standards. If it is not, please report to us. We have a toll-free number that is 1545. 1545 is our toll-free number. Reach us anytime during normal working hours. That is from 8 a.m. all the way to 5 p.m. We shall be able to take it up. We have a vibrant market surveillance department that shall make sure that those complaints, hiyo shida ambayo umekutana nayo kwa bidhaa, we shall be able to address it, investigate it, and if there is anything we can do to protect you, we shall be able to do. That is what Kenya Bureau of Standards is here for. Today's episode was all about research and development. We had Daktari. Daktari, kuna kitu ingine ambayo tumesahau ambayo ungetaka kuongezea and probably tell us about the future of this department as you're looking at it.
The future of research and development department is quite bright. My stay in this department, I would wish to see it nurtured to being a more vibrant department that is able to support more research output being disseminated to the economies, and also that the KEBS Research and Ethics Review Committee can get also to participate in the review of other research proposals from other institutions and also organizations.
Amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Daktari.
Thank
It
you.
has been such a pleasure to host you today in this episode.
Thank you.
Nataka tukimaliza hii episode tuachie wale ambao wanaona hii episode tuwaeleze zaidi kuhusu testing and exactly what testing it does.
Yes.
So as we are leaving, as
Yes.
this episode is coming to an end, it doesn't mean we are going usitoke hapo, because we have a very big and interesting story about testing. And so stay tuned. This is hashtag Ask KEBS. My name is Dennis. Today I was with Dr. Joshua Njiru. We'll be seeing you next time in the next episode of Ask KEBS. That's all the time we had for today. See you next time. I'll leave you with the testing story.
Thank you.
My name is Teko Tieno. I work for Kenya Bureau of Standards, currently serving as the Chief Manager in charge of Testing Services Department, based at the head office. I'm supported by a very able team of managers. So mine is to coordinate the management team of the lab to ensure that samples that come in, processed within the timelines that we've committed ourselves to, and also to help grow the scope of the laboratories. The main role of Testing Services Department is to give support to the other departments within Kenya Bureau of Standards, mainly quality assurance, market surveillance, and inspection. To some extent, we also support Standards Development Division, a directorate, in terms of profiling products to inform the requirements that they will then put in the respective product standards. Our role is to test the samples that are submitted to our labs by these departments, and the reports that we generate are used by the departments that I've named to make conformity assessment decisions, whether products are meeting requirements or not, for purposes of then certifying the product if it is quality assurance, or making decisions on whether imported products are supposed to come into the country or not, having determined if they meet requirements or not, or for the case of market surveillance, to enable them make enforcement decisions whether products need to be withdrawn from the market or not. We also do private testing. Members of the industry or consumers out there are allowed to, and they walk in with samples and they ask us to analyze for them depending on what they are interested in. And if it is within our scope, then we test for those products. Of course, because these are private samples, and we test it at a fee. Over time, KEBS has also invested in laboratories in the regions. We have a laboratory in Mombasa, serving the coast region. We have laboratories in Kisumu, serving the lake region and part of Western. KEBS has also invested in laboratories in the North Rift. Meru has also established a lab now, and they are continuing to work very hard to grow the scope. Nakuru is also joining. They are basically setting up. Some equipment have been acquired. We are working on getting them the staff to be able to start running analysis. We also have a lab now in Moyale, covering the northeastern region and the entry points in northeastern region. But over and above that, we've also grown, and we've enabled some of our border points to be able to carry out some quick tests, especially on grains and feed and grain byproducts, to be able to test for mostly aflatoxin and moisture, to enable them make quick decisions on whether those goods meet requirements or not. Over time, laboratories grew in terms of infrastructure, equipment, and personnel, but also grew in competence. And that is what has enabled our laboratories to be accredited. And accreditation is as high as it goes, because it gives you that reputable global acclaim. When we are accredited to Laboratory Management System ISO 17025, it gives us pride as testing services, and it also gives us pride as KEBS and as a country that we have laboratories that are competent in the eyes of the global community. Maybe I could also mention that the labs have invested in laboratory management information systems that help us to manage the information from all the way from sample login up to the point where we publish the results. We are able to track the movement of the samples, and we are able to know the chain of custody, who dealt with it at what point in time. And which is very important for us, because given the many samples that we analyze and the many parameters that we analyze, without a robust laboratory management information system, one could be groping in the dark, looking for a needle in a haystack. From the team and I, we will always endeavor to deliver our very best, to give her the confidence that the results that we are generating are results that the organization can stand by. I used to read a lot, maybe now not as much as I used to read. When I was young, I used to play football. I enjoy rumba, a bit of country music, and there are some reggae genres that I find very good. My name is Oteko Tieno, and I'm proudly KEBS.